Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I had to check if it's recorded. Okay, welcome back, guys. So today I decided to make a video entitled "7 Steps to Get Out of a Bad Situation." All right, guys. Um, Sometimes we get caught up in these situations and we just don't know what to do. So I'm giving you a breakdown of how I'm trying to handle my current situation and things that I've done to start checking off um, items off of my list. Right. Um, it all comes down to the way you perceive the things in your environment, the way you perceive yourself and others, and it starts by taking those little baby steps. And sometimes you just have to create a list, and then you have to create another list out of that, just to break each item down and make it more manageable, make it conceptually something that you could achieve. Uh, it might seem difficult, it might be maddening, it might seem like it's crazy making, but sometimes in this chaos and this craziness, uh, it's actually very fun to actually get out of your negative situation and actually see progress, which is I find amazing. I love it. Um, this, and even recording is just one of my passions. It's just fun. It's just fun to do. It's fun to do. I don't care if anyone doesn't watch. To be honest, it's more so for me. And if people learn, all power to all of us, right? So the first thing you want to do is to recognize the problem. Okay, recognize it. Understand that you're in a tough situation. Understand that your marriage is going downhill. Understand that maybe you're drinking a little bit too much. Understand that maybe you're putting too much time into other things and not putting enough time into yourself and self care. And one of the first things that you want to do as step one is to start to write down the things that are bogging you down, things that are making you feel like when you wake up in the morning, you're upset, you're angry. Start writing that down. Journal it. Grab a composition notebook such as this. Start writing it down, and that would help to start to get things on paper. And now you can start tackling those problems because working out of your mind is sometimes very difficult to do. It's hard to keep track of everything in your mind. Writing it down makes it a lot easier. Um, so I'm very, I like to focus on pain-inducing thoughts because usually those are the ones that really, really would actually get the best results, and it would affect change. And if something makes you feel very uncomfortable, stressed out, anxious, um, that's probably a good place to start. And as always, you gotta dig deep, dig deep, dig deep. In order for you to get out of this situation, you have to really be honest with yourself and really sit in your mess and start digging your way out. So this goes with number two: make a list of your current situation. So I have a couple of examples I can give you. Let me try to say it on camera. Uh, when you make your list, you have to be very clear and get that mess out. Get it out. Um, when you do create a list, you want to kind of look for certain things inside that list. There's certain things you want to cover within that list to um, help you formulate your plan out. So, for instance, in this tough situation, how do I cope? So what do? Do you stress eat? Do you drink? Do you do some type of drugs that you shouldn't be doing? Do you exercise too much? Do you obsess and ruminate about things that happened in the past? Any of those things. Um, Make sure that you are covering how you cope with these situations. Also, focus on the things around you, right? On the things outside your house, the physical things, right? The trees, the birds, ooh, your neighbor, that house over there, that car there, that car there. Just start to like actually focus on those things and start to write them down. It'll help you start focusing on how to be grateful for the things that you do have, as opposed to the things that you don't have. Um, Again, the same thing. Who am I surrounded by? Are you in a good neighborhood? Are you around people who achieve? Like for instance, let's say you want to be a more health conscious person and you want to have a dog or whatnot. Are you around people who are health conscious? Are you around people who have dogs? Or um, what is your environment healthy? Because if it isn't, you're likely to be like what's surrounding you. Um, what about your current environment jumps at you? What about it makes you feel some type of way? Makes you feel uncomfortable? I know for myself, one thing I do not like. I hope the mic picks it up because I'm over here. The mic is over here and I just tapped it. The one thing I don't like about my situation currently right now is that there's only one way in, one way out when it comes to your vehicle, and that to me feels like an enclosure, and it feels like somewhere where if I needed to get out sometime, and it's a fear, and it's overcoming that fear at the end of the day. That's why it's very important to get into a routine of writing out your problems and facing those fears and understanding that they might not be as realistic. And fear, false evidence appearing as real. I think that's the acronym or whatever for fear. And but then again, at the same time too, you kind of want to be a little bit cautious. You want to have those escape routes, right? And that's one of the things that I've been constantly focused on. It's like there's only one driveway here. Like no. Um. Again, how do you feel? Your feelings. Write down your feelings. Just break everything down. And also, what you spend your time thinking about. Are you constantly, again, ruminating about things in the past? Or are you focusing on, you know what, like, I can't wait until I am able to to get a dog. All right, you want a dog, right? What does your apartment right now allow dogs? No. Okay, what is the next step to take? Find an apartment that does. Then you break it down even further. How much would the rent be? Where would it be located? Is there parking? There's so many things that you have to look at and break down at. You just can't, boom, find an apartment, boom, and that's it. Like, you have to understand the neighborhood. You have to scout the neighborhood. And where you choose to live in that scenario is very important to who you want to be and become. So, number 3, create a path out. So what you're gonna do essentially is, and there goes my favorite word again. um, just again make another list. Now this time you don't give a, you're not filtering yourself. You are writing down all your fantasies about how the hell you're gonna get out. Whether it's if you're gonna be flying, jumping over cars and some whatever. You're gonna write it out and you're gonna get that stuff out and you're gonna fantasize a bit. Use your imagination. Eventually, what's gonna happen is that you start creating that list, and then you start finding ways to actually make certain things come true. It's like writing out a story and then doing the fine tuning. And always be specific as you can. Be very clear. Get deep. Get dirty. Um, and make sure that you cover those things that I talked about in step 2, which is how do you cope? How do you feel? What is around you? What are you surrounded by? What in your environment leaps at you? Those are the things that you want to write in a more like idealized way, right? This is what I want to be surrounded by. This is what I want to feel, and just do that and create that list. Number 4, compare and contrast the list. So you're gonna take your bad situation that you perceive that you're currently in, and you're gonna take your ideal situation. All right. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna try and compare and see how can you get from that point, from this point to that point, right? How can you switch this situation right here and make it this? And then you're gonna find little bullet points, right? So you're gonna find when you compare, you're gonna see, okay, this situation is bad. This is ideal. Well, how do I draw that bridge? How do I cross over that bridge? Um, Sometimes you have to create a bridge, build a new bridge, whatever. Um, and that's how you're gonna do it. And you're gonna, again, you always want to get deep. You always want to feel. You always want to use your imagination. Don't be too logical. Don't be too analytical. But at this point, you could be a little bit more, focused on trying to actually be a little bit more analytical. But just again, start with the fantasy and then start getting more realistic with it and see what you come up with. So another thing I have here is find one small step goal and do it right now. Right now, just do it. So, for instance, you got laundry that you need to do. You need some fresh underwear and socks. Grab them together, put them in, do your usual routine of soap on top, bottom, whatever, and get it done. All right, just do it. Just do that because that will set you forth. You need to clean the toilet bowl. Just get up, do whatever you gotta do, clean it real quick, and forget about it. It's one thing that you did just now that probably took no more than 30 seconds. Probably it does for some people, but for myself, if I'm quick at it, boom. It's only 30 seconds. That's it. That's it. And you've been waiting how many weeks to get that done? Come on. Come on, man. Biden. Um, Number 5. Write out your next 3 steps. Again, so now you're gonna have a goal and you're gonna write out your next 3 steps. And you're gonna try and accomplish each step. Um, And what you're gonna do is once you get it done, you're gonna check it off. Check that off. Check that off. So an example I can give you is that I was hoarding mail and I will put them in boxes nice and neat. And I decided that you know what, I need to clean up. So I need to get rid of these papers. So I took a bag, went through the boxes. Of course, I did hit a blockade because I saw some paperwork from when I graduated from Southern in 2017, and that got real emotional. It was like emotional because that day didn't go well. Um, Unfortunately, some people decided to rain on my parade and become angry and just really mess up the whole situation and whatnot. But I ended up keeping that. Now that is a piece of me that I have to work on. I have to find out. I have to sort through those emotions and decide whether or not those are going to be valuable items to keep or toss them. Um, yes. So what I did was, again, I put it in a plastic bag. I went to the UPS store, shredded it for like $1 or some change. I spent $20 on that bag. I was like, damn, but it was a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. If I graduated in 2017, then that means, listen, that's years of stuff that I was just holding on to. For some odd reason, I just don't know why. I'm not gonna try and figure it out, but why not just sort through the mail when you get it and throw it out? Maybe that's another goal. Create a mail in, mail out. Create a trash can right there. So mail comes in, you sort it once a week or twice a week, and then you take the envelopes, you throw it in the trash or whatever you want to keep, you keep it there, and then or whatever you don't want, and whatever junk mail, throw in the trash. Sounds simple, but doing it is difficult. It's difficult. I'm telling you, man. For me, at least, it's like, oh, um, so you just want to have something also visually appealing, like especially when you see a list and you see check marks, man. It is so. It's just it makes me truly happy. It makes me like, okay, I'm accomplishing something. It might not seem like much at the end of the day to some people, but for me, it's like, dang, like I'm actually making progress. Like I'm going somewhere, and it's pretty dope. Um, so what you want to do next for number 6 is that you want to rinse and repeat these steps over here. So I believe 3 to 5. Yeah, I forgot. I didn't write it down. So you want to rinse and repeat. Make a list of your current situation. Create a path out. Compare and contrast. You might already have number 2 done anyways. So you rinse and repeat number 3 and 4. I should say. Sorry about that. So 3 and 4. Just repeat that. Make another 3 goals, 3 steps, and 3 goals and whatnot, and continue to do that. Um, Yes, I have it right here, 4 and 5. Until you reach your goal. Keep the good situation in mind. Keep looking forward. All right. Um, I know for myself, I do a lot of thinking, and I make up a lot of scenarios in my head that um, it just motivates me to keep going further. It's like a little game, and maybe it is true that I like to be a little villain or whatnot, but unfortunately, that's how you have to turn it into sometimes. It's like Dark Souls. You have a boss, and you have to fight the boss, and you go to fight the boss, and then you fucking, excuse my language, you die, and then you go again, and you die again. You change your armor, or you change your weapon. You go out and you upgrade your find the tools to upgrade your weapon, and then blah, blah, there's steps to it to become able to fight that boss. And once it's like David and Goliath, right? Is that the story? You got a giant. Is it David? And he just took whatever weapon he had in his hand, and he took that out. He took him out. So think of it that way. It's like you have a sword or you have something, and you're trying to take out the giant, and make it fun. Make it real. Make it fun. At the end of the day, whatever is going on in your environment, man, please, that ain't got nothing on me. That's for sure. Especially with the copycats. Um, I have more stuff. Number seven. Number seven is also very important. You have to almost like also consider it as its own thing. Number seven is prevent from going backwards. Finding different coping mechanisms to or putting things in place to help you from going backwards is very important. All right, because bad situations happen all the time. You're gonna get yourself wrapped up in bad situations, but they don't have to happen all the time. They're gonna happen regardless. But the ones that are in your control, don't have to happen. So if you're a person who has an issue with drinking, work on that. Go to some outpatient therapy or intensive therapy if you have to. If you're in a situation where you might have to get rehab, go get rehab or whatnot. But put things in line. There's medications out there that can help for anyone who's interested in medications, naltrexone and all that stuff, Antabuse. Vivitrol, I think is another one. I think it's like naltrexone. There's options out there. It's just about learning those options and finding those options. If anybody has any questions or anything like that, they can feel free to contact me. I will put my information down in the description box. We all have bad times in life. That's just how life is. Life isn't always going to be in, I don't even know, say unicorns and butterflies, right? It's always going to be trials and tribulations. You're going to have ups and you're going to have downs, and it's about how you manage through those and how you climb the mountain. You have to go through the valley. You know, luckily for some people, sometimes we can skip the valley. We're just that naturally talented. We're just that naturally multifaceted. We can skip the valley. But sometimes we get into a situation where the canyon is steep or the desert is dry and it's hard to climb out, but you can do it. Um, Knowing and understanding your triggers will help you to put the brakes on situations, hopefully before they start. So let's say, for instance, um, drinking is an issue. Clearly, I'm talking about myself, right? So once I start drinking and I start noticing, okay, wait a minute, this is prolonged. This is going on too long, or the volume of liquor is increasing, or this and that. I understand. Okay, wait a minute, something must have happened that had me pick this up again. What Finding out that trigger of what started that drinking is how you're going to be able to wean off of the substance or also even control it. Um, and it can get tough. It can get tough, especially if you're the type of person who is sensitive, such as I, who have a hard time discerning what is good criticism, bad criticism, and what's opinion and advice. It's just it can get tough. It's just learning. Life is a learning lesson. You always want to continue to again be better than you were yesterday, even if it's only 1%, because that's greater than zero, to be honest. Um, a good question would be to ask yourself, how did I get here? Creating a mental note of red flags will help you stay clear from the bad situations. Practice boundary setting. Keep your promises to yourself, that commitment to yourself, so that you can be committed to others and take care of yourself. This is truly is what's working for me. It's working for me. I, I like to play around on Facebook and talk my mess, but to be honest with you, I'm just doing it to have fun. I had some good news today that I would love to share, but I'm only gonna share it when I'm ready to share it. Um, I don't want to be too quick to jump the gun and tell people about it, but slowly things are happening and it's crazy. It's like if you have something in mind, just do it. Just go do it. You have that extra money to spend on here, go do it. You have the money to spend on that LLC to hire somebody to do LLC or whatever, do it. You have that extra money to go pay a career counselor, go do it. You have that extra money to learn a new hobby or to get a certificate, go do it. Go start that. Yeah, sometimes it'll take a couple months. It might take a year. It might take longer than a year. Choose something. You can start even slower than that. I don't know if that's the right word, but you can start even doing a program for like a month or two and then progress to the next one. Yeah, it might cost some money now, but over time, it's going to probably give you the abundance that you need at the end of the day. So, this is my take on how to get a bad situation, get out of a bad situation, and this could be cycled over in everything that you're exposed to, or whatever, relationships, jobs, when it comes to trying to get a car, whatever. Find out what your hurdles are and find ways around them. All right. Thank you for watching, guys. I am so happy that I'm able to do this. Um, Finding something that makes you happy is not that hard. I know some people get stuck and they don't know what their passions are, but it's doing things like this that start to open up the channel and open up those doors for you. And it truly is a blessing. Again, I'm grateful for the people that I have met thus far. Um, I'm more confident than I've been in such a long time, and my truer self is coming out, and I'm not. I have a habit of being a chameleon. I'm very adaptable, and that could be seen as kind of flaky and this and that, but it's kind of something I picked up in order to survive in the different environments that I've been in. And but I like being this way, and it's about working with other people so that I could be myself. People will accept you for who you are at the end of the day, but there's also behaviors that you might have and coping mechanisms that you might have that might affect other people. So it's that give and take type of situation. But anyways, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Um, Information is going to be in the description box. And you guys have a wonderful day.